Hello student, this is Govind sir and today we are discussing the remaining topics of 4th unit that are computer network, fault analysis and sequential circuit. So let's start with the computer networks. A computer network is defined as the interconnection of two or more computers. It is done to enable the computers to communicate and share available resources. So, computer network is generally an interconnection of two or more computers. And we have some applications of computer network, that is sharing of resources such as printers, sharing of expensive softwares and database, communication from one computer to another computer, and we have exchange of data and information among users via network, the sharing of information over geographically wide areas. Okay, so these are the basic applications of computer network. Now we have to understand what are the networking and what is the effect. So, computer networks have opened up an entire frontier in the world of computing called the client server model, in which a client requests to the server and server respond to the client. And the advantage of this type of networking, we increased the speed of exchange of information, reduced cost, improved security, centralized software management, electronic mails, flexible access. Okay, so we have another classification of computer network. This is on the base of geographical area. We can classify network in the various categories. First one is PAN, PAN. Second one is LAN. Third one is WAN, MAN, and CAN. These are the basic area networks. So first one is personal area network. Second one is local area network. Third one is wide area network, and fourth one is metropolitan area network. And CAN, that stands for campus area network. Okay, so now let's start with the personal area network. A area network is a computer network organized around the individual persons, and it generally consists of mobile, a computer, a cell or phone, digital assistant. Pen enables the communication among these devices. You can see in this figure very clearly the laptop is connected to mobile, headphones, mobiles, printers, mouse, and another computer also. So this is the basic visualization of personal area network, and it can also be used for communicating among personal devices themselves, for connecting to a digital level network and internet. And the pens can be constructed using wireless or cables. It can be wireless or it can be used cables to connect the devices. Now we have another classification, that is local area network. It is also called LAN. LAN is a network in which LAN is a network which is designed to operate over a small physical area. The important thing is it is used to operate over a small physical area, such as an office, factory, or group of buildings. So LAN are easy to design and troubleshoot. Exchange of information and sharing of resources becomes easy because of LAN. And in LAN, all machines are connected to a single cable, and different type of topologies such as star, trees, buses, ring, etc. can be used. So we have different type of topologies, and topologies are the arrangement of the devices to a single line. Or you can see here there is a LAN network and number of users are connected to this LAN. So LAN can be operated over a small physical area, such as an office, factory, or group of buildings. Another classification is wide area network. Wide area network, when network spans over a large distance, or when the computers to be connected to each other are at widely separated locations, a local area network cannot be used. A wide area network is installed. So we have geographically large area in the wide area network. The communication between different users of WAN is established using leased telephone lines, satellite links, and similar channels. And it is cheaper and more efficient to use the phone network for the link. If we use the phone network to the link, it will be cheaper. So there are many lanes which are connected with other lanes that comes in wide area network. So the span of wide area network is a very large. Now we have metropolitan area network. It is in between the LAN and WAN. So we have moderate area for the metropolitan area network. It uses similar technologies as LAN. It can be a single network such as cable TV network, or a measure of connecting a number of LANs, or a large network so that resources can be shared LAN to LAN as well as device to device. So this is the bit this lie between LAN and WAN technology, and almost similar to the LAN network. So you can see here there are number of LANs which are connected to a metropolitan area network. It is not so wide, but it is larger than the LAN area network. Okay. Now we have campus area network, that is called CAN. The campus area network is made up of an interconnection of LAN with limited geographical area. Its name suggests that it is all around a campus of a college or office, etc. Okay, so network equipment such as switches, routers, and the transmission media, that is optical fiber, are etc., are almost entirely owned by the campus owner. So you have seen in the your colleges and the offices there are interconnection of routers, Wi-Fi, etc., which comes in campus area network. Okay. So we have some difference between LAN, WAN, and MAN on the basis of different parameters. First one is owner of network. So LAN can be private, WAN can be private or public, and similarly MAN can be private or public. And geographical area covered is small in LAN, very large in WAN, and moderate in MAN. Design and maintenance, easy in LAN. Design and maintenance is easy in LAN, and in WAN there is no easiness in the design and maintenance, and it is same as for MAN. Communication media, coaxial cables are used in LAN, and PSTN or satellite links are used in WAN. And coaxial cables, PSTN, optical fibers cables, wireless can be used in MAN network. And if we talk about bandwidth, so we have low bandwidth in LAN, high bandwidth in WAN, and moderate bandwidth in MAN. We have different data rates for different network. So we have high data rate in LAN, low data rate in WAN, and moderate data rate in MAN. So this is all about the computer networks and their differences. Okay, now let's move to the next topic, that is fault analysis in mechatronic system. We can split the mechatronic systems into multiple types: actuators, sensors, and data acquisition systems. Methods of conditioning, monitoring, and fault diagnosis for each of these systems will be presented, and then review ways of monitoring them as a whole in complex system. The methods are often divided into multiple categories, mm, such as model based methods, data based methods, and hardware based methods. So you can see here we have a classification of fault diagnosis methods. First one is model based, second one is hardware based, and third one is data based. In the model based we have abstract hierarchy, fault trees, analytical redundancy, parity space, common filter, and parameter estimations. So these are all included in model based methods. We have another hardware hardware based method, that is it includes hardware redundancy, voting techniques, special hardware, limit checking, and frequency analysis. Another one is data based. In the data based model, in the data based method, we have neural networks, fuzzy logics, expert systems, and statistical inference can be done in data based methods. Now we have a basic difference between model based and data based methods. So you can see in the image there are pretty much the same at a macro system level, but the main difference consists of how the residual information is generated. So the model based one needs no prior input data, no prior data to get an expected result. There is no prior input data to get an expected result. While the data based system, we require information on which an internal model of the system is built. So this is the basic difference between these two methods. The quality and the quantity of the training data is very important, and also the system has to be properly designed in order to avoid the training data overfit or underfit. In both cases, the expected output would be erroneous, leading to a bad fault diagnosis. On the other hand, if the model based system is too simple and does not capture all the dynamics of the system, then the fault diagnosis system may not be able to detect all the faults that may appear. So it will be little more complex and capture all the dynamics of the system so that the fault analysis will be done correctly. Now we move to the next topic of this unit, that is synchronous and asynchronous sequential circuits. Let's start with the synchronous sequential circuits. First, we have to talk about sequential circuits. The sequential circuits are the combinational circuits in which we have a memory element which is connected which is connected from output to input. So if we talk about synchronous circuit is a digital circuit in which the changes in the state of memory elements are synchronized by a clock signal. So you can see in the image, this is a combinational circuit, but we have a memory element that is in digital storage. So this is a sequential circuit. Overall, this is sequential circuit, and this memory element is controlled by a clock pulse. So this is a synchronous circuit, or can say synchronous sequential circuit. In a sequential digital logic circuit, data is stored in memory device which is called flip-flop or latches. Okay. On the other hand, in an unclocked or pulsed sequential circuits, such a clock is not present. We have another type of sequential circuit, that is pulsed sequential circuit. These are also synchronized, but there is no clock. Pulse mode circuits require two consecutive transitions between 0 and 1. That is a 0 pulse or a 1 pulse to alter the circuit's state. A pulse mode circuit is designed to respond to pulses of certain duration. The constant signal between the pulses are null or space signals which do not affect the circuit's behavior. So it is can be shown in the figure. There is input pulses and the output pulses, but no clock pulse is connected. But the state of digital memory can be transient between 0 by the two consecutive transitions between 0 and 1. Okay. Now we have another sequential circuit, that is asynchronous sequential circuit. The circuit is considered to be asynchronous if it does not employ a periodic clock signal C to synchronize its internal changes of the state. Therefore, the state changes occur in direct response to signal changes on primary input lines, and different memory elements can change state at different times. So in asynchronous sequential circuits, the inputs are levels, and there are no clock pulses. The inputs event drive the circuit. So main basic difference between asynchronous and synchronous sequential circuit, there is no clock pulse, and the input events drive the circuits. In general, an asynchronous circuit does not need the precise timing control supported by flip-flop. It may therefore contain latches rather than flip-flops. In many cases, an asynchronous circuit simply relies on the propagation delay of its component, gates and connections, combined with the circuit's feedback structure to implement its memory function. So we can say the previous stage output will act as clock to the next output. So there is a no simultaneous clock in the circuits, and this type of sequential circuits are called asynchronous sequential circuits. You can see in the image, we have combinational circuits, we have digital memory elements. So this is all sequential circuit, but there is no simultaneous clock is given to the circuits. So this is called asynchronous sequential circuit. Now we have some classification, some difference between synchronous and asynchronous circuits. So all the state variable changes are synchronized with a universal clock signal in synchronous circuits, and in the synchronous circuits, the state variable are not synchronized to change simultaneously and may change at any time irrespective of each other to achieve the next steady internal state. And since all the internal state changes are in the strict control of a master clock source, they are less prone to failure or to a race condition, and hence are more reliable. So there is a master control of clock sources, and since there is no such universal clock source, and the internal state changes as soon as any of the input changes, and hence are more prone to the race condition. So race condition is change is related to change in output and change in input, and the timing of internal state changes are in our control in the synchronous circuits, whereas the change in internal state of an asynchronous circuit are not in our control. So you can see in this image, there is a basic difference is shown. This is combinational circuit, and this is the feedback network to the input from the output. So this is a synchronous circuit, and while in this circuit we have digital storage and combinational circuit as well as, but the clock pulse is present in the circuit, that's why it is synchronous circuits. So this is all about the synchronous and asynchronous circuits, and this is the completion of unit 4th. We will start unit 5th in the next video. Okay, thank you.